Construction is one of the largest fields in modern day America. There are many people that work construction and many different types of people. A recent survey released by the U.S. Department of Commerce shows that $64.7 million were paid out to construction crews in America in the month of January alone of 2014. So how does this relate to you? There are many people that work construction, many people that you might know or will know one day. I worked construction for 3 years. I know many people that work construction, and I know how many of them act. Construction is a very satisfying field that has many job opportunities and many opportunities to make a great living, and has a huge opportunity to be a platform to share something that God values. In the next few minutes, I will be going over a couple major things. First, I'll be talking about some things that God values. Second, I'll be talking about how construction workers act and their personality types. And third, I will be talking about how we can use the field of construction to share something that God values. This brings me to my first point. God values many things. In the Bible, we read all the things that God values, but one that sticks out to me is God's value of love. For example, in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 2, says that if I speak in tongues of men and angels, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and wisdom, if I have faith that can move mountains, but I have not love, then I am nothing. Obviously, throughout this verse, it is quite apparent that God values love. Even if we have all these cool, godly things, if we don't love, it's worthless. As another example, John 13, verses 13 through 35, states, "A new commandment I give you, to love one another. As I have loved one another, you are to love each other. For men will tell you apart as my disciples if you love one another." These are some of the last words that God spoke to his disciples before he died on the cross. If God was willing to use these as his last words to his disciples, love must be an extremely important thing to God. This brings me to my next point. How to relate the love of God to the construction field. According to the Electronic Library of Construction, Occupational Safety and Health, the average age of a construction worker is 37.8 years old. Construction workers are all pretty much mid-aged employees. You don't see many old employees in the construction field because of the physical requirements of the job. Because construction isn't a very daunting job usually, you don't see many construction workers with college degrees. Likewise, U.S. News released an article that stated the average salary of a construction worker was around $30,000 a year. As you got more specialized, as you started becoming managers and even electricians or plumbers, the average can go up to anywhere in the $80,000 to $100,000 per year range. Construction workers are usually middle-aged with no college degrees that make a decent living. This brings me to my third and final point. So we know what God values, and we know kind of a little bit about how construction workers are. So how are we supposed to use this as a field, as a platform to share what God values? Well, according to Speech Communication by Donald Albin, truly saved Christians are not supposed to just go to church and act like Christians sometimes. If we are truly saved, we are to show love in everything we do. Everything we do, say, and think has to be about God, and we have to show love in everything we do. So if we know someone that works construction, or even if you work construction, a great way to show God's love to construction workers is to just be loving to them. But there's some problems that can come up. For example, Gina Maselli says in Workplace Evangelism that you can't expect to gain permission to talk about the tougher subjects in life unless we develop friendships with these people that we want to influence for Christ. In order to be able to connect with our coworkers, we have to first be able to develop relationships with them. If we don't have relationships, we're not going to be able to talk to them about God and what He values. So, in conclusion, you heard some of the things that God values, you heard some of the personality types of construction workers, and you also heard how we are to use construction as a field, as a platform to share something that God values. So if you are looking for a good paying job with great opportunities To show God's love in everything we do, construction might be the job for you.